Hello, movie lovers. I hope you all are fine. For a long time, you have been requesting me to explain a new series like Money Heist. So today I have brought the Netflix's top-rated series Lupin, where we will listen to the story of a mastermind thief who is an ordinary cleaner who stole a necklace worth a few hundred crores from the eyes of everyone. But this incident is not just about stealing. There is an unknown truth that comes out of this necklace. The more you dig into the truth, the more you wonder what will happen next. So if you complete 10,000 likes in this video, I will bring the next 2 seasons very soon. So let's dive into the story of Lupin with a big like. At the beginning of the episode, we get to see the main character of the story, Hassan. He works as a cleaner in the Louvre Museum in Paris. During the day when the visitors return home, he comes to clean the museum at night. Here he gets the opportunity to see the valuable antiques in the museum from a very close distance. Like any other day, he goes to clean the museum today, but his eyes are blocked by a freestanding necklace. A co-worker wakes up next to him and says, "This is the Queen's necklace. It will be auctioned next week. The price of this necklace is so high that they will not be able to buy it even with the cost of 1,000 years. As soon as the time is short, Hassan goes back to his work. The next day, his wife meets Claire and gives some money for the boy's accommodation. Hassan and his wife are separate for some reason. Hassan tells Claire that he wants to meet his son. Claire then knows that if she wants 8 o'clock on Saturday, she can meet the boy. Claire is very happy to give permission to meet the boy. Then she goes to a flat to meet a man named Vincent. Hassan took some money from him, but he couldn't give it back in time. Vincent starts beating him as soon as he sees Hassan. Hassan is forced to throw him out of the building. Then Hassan gives him a proposal. He has an idea through which they can earn millions. If Vincent and his people get a little soft, Hassan tells them that the museum where he works has a precious necklace of the Queen. It will be auctioned next Friday, and they will steal that necklace now. Hassan understands them practically. Even if there is a CCTV camera in the whole museum, there is no camera in the locker room of the visitors. Their way to the museum is different. Besides, the upper-class people don't care for cleaners like Hassan. So Hassan will put Vincent, Kevin, and Rudy inside as cleaners. Vincent and Kevin will first beat the guards and take their cover, and Rudy will go inside and turn off the cameras in the control room. When the cameras in the control room are turned off, the police will receive an alert, and they will be there in 7 minutes, so they will have to leave the work in these 7 minutes. For this, they will leave a car outside, so that they can easily escape. After making the plan, they wait for Friday. The auction begins on Friday. Many rich people from abroad come to buy the necklace. Most of them make a fake ID card called Mr. Paul. Hassan also goes there to buy the necklace. On the other hand, Vincent, Kevin, and Rudy also enter inside as cleaners. No one suspects them. As planned, Vincent and Kevin take 2 guard cameras and give green signal to Rudy. Then Rudy goes to the control room and turns off all the CCTV cameras. Then he messages Hassan and informs him. At that time, the total price of the necklace had risen to 42 million, and Hassan said the price. To save time, Hassan gives another 60 million, so that no one else dares to say the price of the necklace. Even after saying the price of the necklace twice, no one doubts him, because in the fake profile, he had written 576 million worth of property. Anyway, after 2 minutes, Rudy gets up in the car outside, and Hassan goes to the vault room with the auctioneer. Vincent and Kevin were on duty under the guarding roof. The auctioneer tells Hassan that he will get the necklace only after the full payment. In return, Hassan wants to see the necklace once before he pays, because he is spending a lot of money behind this. The auctioneer also opens the lock of the vault and lets Hassan see the necklace. As soon as Hassan takes the necklace in his hand, Vincent and Kevin jump on them. The 2 of them run away with the necklace while holding hands with the other 2 authorities present there. Actually, Vincent and Kevin were planning to push Hassan and take the necklace, but their hope is not fulfilled. They get into an accident while driving the car and finally get caught, and the police also raise the necklace. The police's detective branch captain comes to the museum and questions Hassan because he has never heard the name of Hassan's company before, so he was a little doubtful. But then the authorities said on behalf of Hassan that he was trying to protect the necklace. In the meantime, the captain gets a call that the culprits have been caught and the necklace has been confiscated. So the captain sends the necklace to the lab to test the authenticity, and without any reason to doubt Hassan, he does a normal check-in and leaves. So Hussein gets out of there and comes back to the museum as a cleaner at night. Then he finishes cleaning and comes out with a dustbin bag, and he takes the real necklace out of the bag and leaves with it. Actually, when Vincent and Kevin fell on him last night, then Hussein did not change the real necklace with the fake one in his pocket, and he throws the real necklace into a dustbin in the museum so that he can collect the necklace at the time of cleaning later. It's a perfect plan at once, isn't it? But he didn't do this plan in a day. He had been planning to get this necklace for the past 25 years. But why? To know this, we have to go back 25 years ago. At that time, Hussein's father, Babakar, worked as a driver in the Pellegrini family, and Ronnie's necklace belonged to the Pellegrini family. However, Hassan's father followed his duties with great care and devotion. So one day, Mrs. Pellegrini tells Hassan's father that there is a lot of money in their home library. She can take the money to study if she wants. Hussein's father takes a bag named Arsène Lupin for Hassan, and a few days later, Mr. Pellegrini in the name of Hassan's father, so he has to go to jail for stealing the necklace. Then one day, Hussein went to meet his father in jail. He didn't want to insult him, so he strangled him and murdered him. And that's where Hussein's necklace comes into play. After waiting for 25 years, a week ago, the news came to know that this necklace had been stolen, and it is now kept in the Louvre Museum, and a week later, the necklace will be auctioned. So Hussein plans to work as a cleaner in the museum, and along with that, he creates his own business profile, and the money from Vincent's work was also part of his plan. Basically, he made the excuse of money for their help, and finally, before the auction, his friend Benjamin makes a fake necklace out of it, and in this way, through a perfect planning, the necklace finally reaches him. However, at that time, another in charge of this case, call Inspector Yusuf from the lab and find out that the necklace they made is fake. After hearing this, he got upset, and after reading his eyes, he turned towards a box of Arsène Lupin on the desk. Because the theft happened the same night as this box, he could understand that the thief must have been a fan of Arsène Lupin. The scene shifts to show Hassan. The next day, as it was Saturday, she was supposed to meet her son today, so she meets her son and goes out with him. Hassan gives the box of Arsène Lupin to his son, which his father gave him 25 years ago. Basically, this box changed Hassan's life. So at the end of episode 1, in episode 2, Hassan was talking to his friend Benjamin about the necklace. After testing Benjamin's necklace, the Pellegrini family lied about the necklace. They said that 25 years ago, after stealing this necklace, it is sold to diamonds in about 7 countries. Then they brought it from all those countries. They gave it to the diamonds again. But after checking the necklace, nothing like this can be seen. The necklace is the same from the beginning. No diamond has a mark. Hearing this, Hassan is sure that this necklace has never been stolen. That means 25 years ago, his father was trapped in a fake case. Then Hassan tells Benjamin to open all the diamonds in the necklace. Then Hassan sends a letter to Mrs. Pellegrini to meet her. He sends a diamond proof with the letter. The location, date, and time written in the letter were all written. Accordingly, Mrs. Pellegrini goes to meet him. Hassan meets Mrs. Pellegrini on the day of the pizza delivery and asks why she had stabbed her father. Mrs. Pellegrini has police protection here, and a spy camera and a hearing machine were attached to the neck. Hassan can understand that and covers the spy camera with his hand. Mrs. Pellegrini tells Hassan to solve the matter for free, but Hassan does not agree. He wants to give back his father's honor. The spy camera is turned off on this side. The officers on the roof were coming towards them. Hassan understands this and quickly starts running with his bicycle. The police chase him, but if a few more pizza delivery boys come there, the police get confused. They stop a wrong delivery boy in Hassan's absence, and Hassan changes his clothes and leaves. Actually, before meeting Mrs. Pellegrini, Hassan had ordered all these pizzas with the location here, so that he can escape. It's like getting a vibe of a Manchester professor, isn't it? Anyway, Hassan returns home and writes a letter before his father's death. In the letter, his father writes in the last line, "Actually, it can be found in the library," but his father had deliberately written the mistake of making the library. Actually, he was very sensitive about making. So Hassan understands that this is some code language. He can do an analysis all night and come up with a name. And that is ETN Comet. This guy used to work in a library before, and he stayed in jail with his father. The guy is still in jail. Maybe the guy knows something about Hassan's father. So Hassan wants to meet him, but the guy is unwell and he can't meet him. But Hussein is also a dancer. He doesn't intend to go inside the jail. Actually, Hussein's uncle recently went to jail in a case. He looks exactly like his younger brother. Hussein goes to meet him, and he goes inside the jail instead of himself. And his uncle Hussein goes out and comes back. Hussein can enter the jail and go to Comet's cell. He is not here. He is admitted in a jail hospital. So Hussein cleverly puts a gun to the two prisoners in jail, and they also put a brush on Hussein's stomach. As a result, Hussein was admitted to the hospital at that time. So he meets Comet and introduces himself. Comet knows that Hussein's father had kept a bag with him, and he said that if someone comes here looking for him, then Comet will give him the bag and say that all the answers are in this bag. Hussein goes to Comet's cell at night with the help of the guards, and he finds another bag of the Arsène Lupin series there. He comes back to his cell and opens the bag and sees that his father has marked some words on the bag with T. Seeing Hussein's words together, his father wants to say that I am innocent. Annie Pellegrini has hanged me. After knowing this, Asani is very angry with Annie, but if he wants to take revenge, he has to get out of jail now. For this, he makes a plan. He also puts a brush on his throat with the Arsène Lupin technique. As a result, everyone catches him and he is killed. So in the ambulance, Hussein's body was to be taken to the post-mortem. And in the end, Hussein gets up and runs away from the car. After this, Hussein meets Annie Pellegrini, that is Mrs. Pellegrini, and asks her about this matter. Annie knows that she was told to sign the confession paper with Hussein's father. Then the father will be released after a few days. So she met with the father in jail and signed the confession paper with him, but she didn't know that she would be executed with him and the father. Annie tells Hussein the name of the police officer named Gabriel, who was investigating the Babacar case at that time. This officer is basically responsible for Babacar's death. Hassan can go home and search for Gabriel. He has now become a police commissioner after getting a promotion. So at the end of episode 2, at the beginning of episode 3, we get to see Commissioner Gabriel, who is living a very happy life with his family. He has a very sweet relationship with his wife. On the other hand, we can see Hussein, who was keeping an eye on all Gabriel's activities through a CC camera. There was a time when Hussein had a secret camera in Gabriel's house. Gabriel doesn't know about it. Anyway, Gabriel was working in the office. At this time, Hussein meets an IT technician and meets him and tells him that he has come from the IT department for computer checking, and he checked the computer and got porn video from it. Hearing this, Gabriel is very upset, but Hussein naturally tells him to delete the videos right now. Otherwise, he will be forced to file an official report. Hearing this, Gabriel gets angry and goes to the computer lab with him. And then he enters Gabriel's house in an empty house and gives Hussein an injection to make him unconscious. Hussein breaks Gabriel's mobile SIM card there itself and puts it in a big box. Then Hussein takes the box out and takes it in a car and kidnaps Gabriel. Then when Gabriel turns his head, he sees that his hands and feet are tied in a chair. Hussein does not come in front of him directly at this time, but starts talking to Gabriel through a device in the next room. Hussein's father asks Gabriel for some photos of his father on the screen to see if he can recognize him. Gabriel can recognize his father, and then a flashback of 25 years ago is shown. Gabriel meets his father with Mr. Pellegrini after arrest. He tells Mr. Pellegrini that there is no criminal background of his father. He is a healthy and helpful stranger. He doesn't think he stole his father's necklace. Gabriel says to Mr. Pellegrini that you increased the insurance money for that necklace a few days ago. So stealing the necklace means you are more useful to him. Then Gabriel will find out the truth and leave from there. So the scene comes back again. Hassan sees the reports of his father's theft, molestation, and rape on the screen, all of which had Gabriel's signature. He asks Hassan why he trapped his father in a fake case. He couldn't find any necklace at that time. Then how did his father get the insurance money? And why did he get a thief's rape from him in order to reduce his father's insurance money? Gabriel doesn't want to answer any questions at that time. Hussein shows him some evidence of his bank details and thefts. Then he blackmails him and says, if he doesn't accept the truth, then Hussein will send his wife. Actually, Gabriel's wife knew him as an ideal, healthy, and determined man. That's why Hussein didn't sell this pot. But if Gabriel doesn't listen to him, Hussein really calls Gabriel's wife. Hearing the story of his wife, Gabriel gets very nervous and accepts that he did this on the pretext of theft. But he doesn't do this for his own selfishness. He is forced to do this for the sake of his children's future. On the other hand, the captain of the detective branch was sitting with the case file of his father. The file also had the name of Commissioner Gabriel written on it. At this time, a co-worker finds out that the commissioner has been kidnapped. The police are shocked at the incident of the commissioner's kidnapping. They can check the CCTV footage and see a son, but the video was not clear, so it cannot be identified. They also find the commissioner's mobile phone switched off, but Inspector Yusuf knows that there is a separate chip other than the commissioner's mobile SIM. So they quickly track that chip and know the location of Gabriel's mobile phone. Then he goes out to rescue everyone together. On the other hand, it can be seen that Hussein uses AI to make Gabriel's deep face and blackmails him to tell the whole truth. Hussein tells him that if he doesn't accept the truth, then he will introduce him to Han Uncle and make this video viral in Bangladesh. Hearing this, Gabriel gets nervous and says that he only knew so much about the kidnapper's case. He requests Hussein to let him go. With that, he also promises that he will not tell anyone about Hussein. Hussein then says that even if it is not right to trust the police, I still trust you and let you go, Han Uncle. Anyway, the police officers go to the location and find this box. They open the box and see that only the commissioner's mobile phone is there. They then call the car driver, and the driver knows that he was booked by Uber. He doesn't know anything about the kidnapper. He was only told to bring some things from the city hall. Hearing this, Yusuf says that the commissioner must have been kidnapped and kept in the city hall, because this is the technique of Arsène Lupin. He turns everyone's mind to the other side and cuts himself in the middle of everyone's tricks. Yusuf pulls him to the city hall by force, and he leaves Hussein's house just a few seconds before. But when they enter the city hall, they greet Commissioner Gabriel politely. It is seen in the next scene that the captain was getting old to talk to Officer Sophia. They were not able to think that even after locking the commissioner for 4 hours, he could not give any information about the kidnapper. In addition, the kidnappers did not pressurize him at all, so the matter seemed impossible to them. At this time, Yusuf saw the captain and got a clue. He knows that the person who kidnapped Mr. Paul Parashoy on the day of the auction and the person who kidnapped the commissioner are basically the same person. With that, he also says that when the hand was lost for the first time 25 years ago, the in charge of the case was Gabriel. So with this incident, the events of the last few days are completely connected. On the other hand, the commissioner is shown to Gabriel. He returns home and destroys all the spy cameras. Then when he enters the kitchen, a flashback scene is shown 25 years ago. Basically, Mr. Pellegrini saw Gabriel as a threat and trapped the father, but he did not know that the father would commit suicide for this reason. Even after so many years, he felt very strange about the incident. After the auction, he comes out and tells Mr. Pellegrini on the phone that there is something important to talk to you about the father. A new player has come to the table. He says that he cuts the phone. At this time, Gabriel's wife returns home and catches him happily. Then suddenly the speaker on the table turns on. The conversation between Gabriel and Mr. Pellegrini on the phone is, they start playing on the speaker. The stories from the wife's side. Gabriel breaks the speaker on the table. Here the scene shifts and Asin is shown. This speaker was originally kept here. And through this, he hears and records the phone calls of Gabriel and Mr. Pellegrini. So with Asin's laughter, episode 3 ends here. In episode 4, Asin sends a remote-controlled drone inside Mr. Pellegrini's house so that he can know what's inside. At one point, the drone enters Mr. Pellegrini's home office room. The whole office was secured by a laser light, so he carefully puts the drone in the office. He takes a lot of photos of documents in the drone footage, but when the drone returns, it touches a laser light. As a result, the alarm goes off, and Mr. Pellegrini and all the guards become alert. The guards get up to hold the drone, and suddenly it falls with Daryl. Mr. Pellegrini then finds a crack in the drone. What was written in it? I won't let you go. So the next morning, Commissioner Gabriel was having breakfast. Then Asin sits in front of him. Gabriel gets angry when he sees him. Asin blackmails him again. Then he gets angry and says he will help Asin, but only one condition. Asin stops being angry with him. Asin accepts his words and Gabriel says, there is a journalist named Fabian. He was investigating Mr. Pellegrini, and he almost blew up his cookies. But at the last moment, Mr. Pellegrini stops him from all 4 sides and destroys his journalist career, so Asin knows that he is meeting him now. because only he can help Asin. Asin goes home and talks about that journalist online. Then he goes to meet Fabian and wants help to destroy Mr. Pellegrini. But Fabian refuses him because Mr. Pellegrini has already trapped him in such a way that there is no way to show his face outside. Now his life ends behind the court and the lawyers. Then Asin tells him that he and Fabian's enemy are the same. Asin reveals his father's incident to him, but Fabian returns Asin empty-handed. The next day when Asin was returning home from work, then Fabian himself comes to meet him. Fabian says that Mr. Pellegrini has lost the most important thing in his life, and that is his career, so there is nothing to lose to him, so he agrees to help Asin. Then Fabian takes Asin to his house and plans to investigate Mr. Pellegrini. Asin says that he wants some kind of evidence with which he will be able to cover Mr. Pellegrini's head. Fabian says that he has just such an evidence. On the other hand, the police are seen running. On the day of the commissioner's kidnap, they were trying to make a sketch using the software that the police had obtained from the CCTV footage. In the software, Asin had 4 separate face analyses. On the other hand, Fabian takes Asin to the objector's office, where he used to work as a journalist before. He tells Asin that there is a storage room in the last room below 3, where there is a box. Esports 1980 is written on that box. There is a video cassette inside the box. Asin goes inside with the information of the journalist and finds the cassette. Actually, Fabian himself will not be able to enter this office because he has been assigned to this office for life. That's why Asin has to do this case. So as soon as Asin enters, Fabian lies to the guard. He tells the guard that I am Natalie from the police department. An informer will enter this important file. He will send him to my office room below 3 in the morning. The guard believes the story and allows Asin to enter. And Asin comes back with the video cassette very easily. So when Fabian returns home and starts the cassette, he finds out. In 1996, 11 people were killed in a military attack in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. 8 of them were foreigners. And this attack was carried out a week later because a dalal was involved in the arms business of Malaysia. And that dalal was none other than Mr. Pellegrini. Then if you start the video cassette, you can see Pellegrini dealing with the arms business. Fabian's guess was that Pellegrini was dealing with the arms business by using his insurance money. They find out from Pellegrini's video that France embassy in Kuala Lumpur was blown up with the arms they sold. But Asin does not upload the entire video here. To scare Pellegrini, he spreads a screenshot on the internet. The screenshot quickly goes viral, and it also reaches Mr. Pellegrini's daughter Juliet. When Juliet sees her father, she rejects everything and says that this is a conspiracy by the opposition. Someone is trying to trap him, but the matter does not stop here. Soon the media also starts digging into the matter. Mr. Pellegrini also tells the media the same thing. Along with that, he says in a humorous tone that the one who is trying to defame his name, the evidence is also seen with him. At that time, Fabian comes to the microphone from the crowd of reporters and asks Mr. Pellegrini. Asin was also watching the interview on TV. Asin got upset with Fabian's joke and thought, why did Fabian bring his own trouble like this? But Fabian was feeling a kind of peace in himself, possibly because of Pellegrini's face. After that, Fabian went out of there, thinking that a man from Pellegrini was following him, so he carefully returned home. Asin was already at home. He congratulates Fabian with flowers and thanks him for helping him. They soon plan to publish the whole video, and Asin then goes back to him. In the next scene, Captain Youssef and Sophia are shown sitting in front of Commissioner Gabriel. They show Gabriel the sketches they had made of Asin. Among them, Asin's own sketch was also there. But Gabriel insists that no one is following him, but Youssef could not believe it. He also insisted that the same person was behind the theft of the heart and the abduction of Gabriel. Hearing this, Gabriel gets a little angry and tells them not to join these 2 cases together and focus on finding the heart for them. Otherwise, he will transfer this case to someone else. When the captain requests, Gabriel keeps the captain and Sophia in this case, but he leaves Youssef from this case because he was going towards the solution of this case. So, fearing being caught, he orders the commissioner not to keep this case anymore. So as soon as Asin makes up his face, he goes to a channel talk show. His intention was to show the Pellegrini video live to the whole country today, but before starting the video, Pellegrini people cut the real places of the video So Asen becomes the villain, and the public was trying to trap the innocent Pellegrini. Asen was running away from the TV office after understanding everything, but the Pellegrini people attack him. But Asen kills everyone here and runs away from there. At this time, Juliet apologizes to her father for being suspicious. At the same time, he also says that the person who came to the interview was Asen, who is their driver's father's son. He also saw Asen on the day of the auction of the heart. Hearing this, Pellegrini becomes alert and becomes sure of her enemy. On seeing the talk show on TV, Fabian gets angry. At this time, someone knocks on his door. He can sense the danger, writes something for Asen on the floor and opens the door. Then a man named Leonardo of Pellegrini grabs his neck and asks about Asen. But Fabian doesn't say anything to him. So Leonardo kills Fabian and hangs him on his neck. After a while, Asen enters Fabian's house and is shocked to see his neck. He goes closer to the table. He comes with the table and Fabian's dog. Asen comes out of the table and sees that Fabian has written, "This fight is the fight of their existence." So Asen doesn't stop this fight. In the last scene of this episode, Inspector Youssef gets a hint of a sketch with the people who came to the talk show. And that sketch is the real Asen. So we came to the last episode of Season 1 of the Lupin series. As seen at the beginning of Episode 5, Fabian's dog was very sick at the time of his death. Asen also felt guilty. He thought that if he hadn't put Fabian through all this, he wouldn't have died like this. Benjamin then tells Asen not to get all these thoughts out of his head. And since tomorrow is Asen's son's birthday, he gives him permission to spend time with his family. Then when Asen was going to meet his son in the morning, he could understand that someone was following him. It was actually the same person who killed Fabian. Asen runs away from him, and once he reaches his wife's house, Asen gives the boy a gift box, which contained a dress, cap, etc., like Arsène Lupin. Like his father, the boy was also a fan of Arsène Lupin, so he likes this gift. Asen tells everyone to get ready quickly. Then he goes out with everyone. They were going so fast by train that Arsène Lupin's dress was stolen. Asen had a good time with his family on the train. At this time, his wife Claire takes a selfie of the three of them. Asen zooms in to see the selfie and sits in the seat behind them. Asen didn't want to bother the family, so he was trying to get Leonardo's consent. Asen celebrates his son's birthday in the middle of everyone on the first train. Then he asks Claire if she has any drink. She tells him to go to the back of the train. Leonardo starts following him. Asen doesn't steal the key while crossing the train. Then he goes to the storage room and forces Leonardo to go there. A fight starts between the two in the storage room. And once Asen locks Leonardo in the storage room and comes back to the family. But a little later, Leonardo comes back and sits among his family. Here he tells a story with Asen's son. In this situation, Leonardo sends a message to Asen's captain. "I am Mr. Paul. I will reach Le Havre station in 2 minutes. You're invited to have tea, snacks, and samosas for $10. Okay, let me remind you again. Asen stole the key on the day of the auction with this Paul introduction. As soon as he sees the message, he informs the local police station of Drudo. When the train stops at the station, Asen tells his wife and children to go ahead. And he finds out a little later. After everyone left, Leonardo tells Asen to quietly follow his instructions and go with him. Asen does not make any noise and comes out of the train with Leonardo. And just then, the local police surround them. But these police did not know who Paul was, so they attack Leonardo suspiciously. They get a gun in their pocket and a diamond necklace with it. Paul is the one who goes to prove to him. Actually, before leaving the train, Asen had put the diamond in Leonardo's pocket. Anyway, Asen was walking around the beach with his wife and son with relaxation. At this time, Asen's son goes to the side with his parents' space. On the other hand, he wants to see the captain and Sophia. They were about to go to Atreide. They ask Commissioner Gabriel for permission. Gabriel says, "Will you go there to see the fruit of Badaville?" Gadar Dolko Dakar. The one who was arrested in the name of Paul is someone else, and he has a gun license. He does not know how the diamond came in his pocket, so the local police left him there. Sure thing. Here is a slightly longer response. Hi all my friends. I hope you enjoyed my movie explanation. Your support means a lot to me, so please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share the video introduction. Thank you.